Here is the Eleaf Pico, a tiny little device, but it packs a punch. It's a sweet mod, and it's hard to beat the price of this thing. It's an insane price in my opinion. Under $40 is what I paid for it, and I'll have a link for that. But we'll go over the mod a little bit, show you how to fill the tank and all that, and give some impressions and any cons that I find. And oh, one more thing, look at this. This is the Council of Vapor Mini Volt. There's a size comparison for you. Here's the box that it came in. Here's the back. There she is. It's the Melo 3 Mini. Micro USB, O-rings, coil, 0.5 extra, 0.3 is installed, manual for the Melo 3, also a manual for the Pico. So here it is, the iStick Pico. So look around. Spring-loaded 510 connection. Here's the display. USB port for charging and for firmware upgrades. The plus and minus are on the bottom. There's the vent holes. And it is flush too. Really nice feel to this. It's rounded on both sides, so it just fits right in your hand. It's great. And this right here on top is where the battery goes. And inside the cap is a negative, so the negative goes up top. The Pico comes in pink, gray, black, silver, and white. It takes at least a 25 amp continuous 18650. There's a bunch of modes: variable wattage, bypass, nickel, titanium, TCR. There's like 3 of those. Fires down to 0.05 ohms in temperature control, 200 to 600 degrees Fahrenheit, and it goes down to 0.1 ohms in variable wattage and bypass. And then it goes up to 1.5 ohms in temperature modes and up to 3.5 ohms in the variable wattage or bypass. It has upgradable firmware, and the price point on this is crazy. Let's do a size comparison on this. 30 watt iStick, SMI 75 watt mini, Topbox Nano, Evic VTC Mini, Coolfire 4 Plus, Pioneer View IPv5. Look at this. That is the Eleaf iStick 10 watt mini and the Council of Vapor Mini Volt. This thing is barely bigger than those. 75 watts, temperature control. It's awesome. The Melo 3 Mini has a removable drip tip. Then to fill it from the top, you just untwist this. I'll show you in a little bit how to fill it. That goes back in. And then it has a hidden adjustable airflow. Just moves like that. That's it. Comes with a 0.3 coil installed and the 0.5 coil. They're both Eleaf EC coils. So the kit doesn't come with any temperature control coils. I'm curious what this thing weighs because it's kind of heavy. It feels really solid. So this weighs 4.6 ounces. The Eleaf iStick 30 watt is 3.29. So I started just messing with this right out of the box to see if I kind of got the display, and it is really straightforward with the fire button there and the plus and minus down below. But it's the standard 5 clicks on and off. With the atomizer off, click it 10 times fast and it'll show the temperature when it's turned off. Click it 20 times to see the firmware version. To flip the screen, it needs to be off and hold the plus and minus. To lock the screen, when it's on, hold the plus and minus. And then again to unlock it. To go into stealth mode, hold down the minus and the fire button. In stealth mode, when you hold the fire button, it won't light up. But if you do want to see it, just tap it real quick and then hold it again and it'll go out. And then fire and the negative button to bring it back. To change modes, hit the fire button 3 times and then plus or minus to go through. Has a bunch of modes: wattage, bypass, nickel temperature, titanium, stainless steel, M1, M2, and M3 for TCR. And then either press the fire button or let it sit for like 10 seconds and it'll exit back to the screen. To adjust the wattage, just press up or down. Hold it to scroll fast. And then if you keep pressing, it won't keep going, so you just have to go. And in bypass mode, you can just put on a 0.1 ohm to a 3.5 ohm coil and just use it. And that's it. It needs to be off to enter the TCR modes. Hold down the fire button and plus. And then you can select them with the plus or minus. Press the fire button. Then you can adjust. And then hold the fire button or wait 10 seconds to get out. In temperature control mode, press the fire button 4 times to adjust the wattage. And then you just use the plus or minus to adjust the temperature. And if you want to switch from Fahrenheit to Celsius, you just go all the way to the end. And then keep going and it'll switch. To lock resistance and temp modes, hold the plus and the fire button. And then you see a little lock symbol there next to the resistance. And then same thing to get out. And in temperature modes, if you accidentally were to put on like a 1.5 ohm coil, something like that, and fired it, it would actually switch you back to variable wattage mode. Alright, before I fill it, I'm just going to prime the coil. So just unscrew the base. And just make sure the coil's tight in there, which it wasn't. And just screw the base back. And then unscrew the top. Okay, that should do for me. I'm actually going to try out this e-juice for the first time. So tighten the cap. Let it sit for a few minutes and we'll try it out. Alright, I got the 0.3 coil in here. Let's try it at 30 watts. Quite a lot of vapor coming out of this thing. It's just 30 watts. For such a small little device, it is really a beast. For demonstration purposes, we'll try 50, even though 30 is probably plenty for me. I'll see if I can get it to stop around 50 because it starts to move really fast when you hold it down. Tons of vapor coming out at 50. I'm enjoying this mod a lot. For final thoughts on this thing, if you're looking for a mod or a new device, I say just go get this thing. It's just really hard to beat the price point. It's top notch. Vape's awesome. Really easy to use the buttons. Nice feel to it. It charges with the battery in it if you want to plug it in, or you can take the battery out and charge it yourself. The tank's great. Perfect amount of airflow. I just really can't complain. The only con that I might come up with is that it doesn't have an extra piece of glass if you break it. But then again, at the price point, it's hard to beat the price point. And it doesn't have any temperature coils that come with it either, for anyone that wants to do that, but it has plenty of temperature options for somebody that does. So it's a pretty sweet deal. And I think the other Eleaf tanks are pretty reasonably priced too if you want one of those to use with it. So yeah, the Eleaf Pico. This thing's pretty awesome. I'm loving it.